The graveyard was a place of deep shadows and hushed whispers. The night was heavy, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Flickering candles cast dancing shadows on the weathered tombstones, their flames like tiny, defiant sparks against the encroaching darkness. Beyond the rusted iron gates, the forest stood, a wall of impenetrable blackness, its silence broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures. The moon, a sliver of silver in the vast expanse of the night sky, did little to penetrate the gloom that clung to the graveyard. It was a place where the veil between the living and the dead felt thin, where every gust of wind seemed to carry whispers from beyond the grave. The stones themselves, cold and damp, stood like silent sentinels, their surfaces etched with the names of those long gone. Drawn by an irresistible allure, a young woman named Sissy ventured into the graveyard. She was no stranger to darkness, her heart drawn to the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface of the ordinary. Her attire, a black velvet dress with lace accents, spoke of a fascination with the macabre, a desire to embrace the beauty that could be found in the shadows. Her eyes, wide and bright, scanned the names etched on the tombstones, searching for one in particular. Her heart beat faster, her breath catching in her throat as she spotted the name she sought, Dracula. The letters were worn, almost lost to the ravages of time, yet they held a strange power, a magnetism that drew her closer. Legends of the infamous Count had captivated her since childhood, tales of his dark power and eternal life, both terrifying and intoxicating. Tonight, she would find him. She would stand before his grave and call upon his spirit. A sudden sound broke through the silence, the creak of a heavy door opening, followed by the sound of approaching footsteps. Sissy froze, her heart pounding in her chest. A light flickered in the distance, a warm orange glow that cut through the darkness. Someone was coming from the old church that stood at the edge of the graveyard, its spire a skeletal finger pointing towards the heavens. Fear, sharp and cold, gripped her. She had to hide, to melt back into the shadows before she was discovered. Her eyes darted around, searching for a place of concealment. Just ahead, she spotted a large, moss-covered tombstone, its surface cracked and weathered. With a silent prayer, she slipped behind it, pressing herself against the cold stone, her breath held tight. Two large dogs, their dark forms barely visible in the gloom, padded silently through the graveyard, their senses alert for any disturbance. They sniffed at the air, their breath misting in the cool night, their keen noses picking up the scent of humans, both living and long gone. Sissy cowered behind the tombstone, her heart pounding in her ears. The dogs paused near her hiding place, their dark eyes glinting in the flickering candlelight. A low growl rumbled deep in their chests. Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet began to tremble. The dogs, sensing a shift in the earth, backed away, whimpering low in their throats. The tombstone in front of Sissy shifted, its weight grinding against the earth, and then, slowly, majestically, the ground before her gave way, revealing a dark, gaping hole. From its depths, a figure began to rise. His eyes, glowing with an eerie light, met hers, and a cold yet strangely comforting hand reached out to her. It was Dracula. "Come, my dear," he whispered, his voice a seductive rasp. "You are safe now." In that instant, all fear drained away, replaced by a sense of exhilaration. She took his hand, her fingers entwining with his, and allowed him to pull her into the darkness.